Picture this: what if I told you, you only need to save aggressively for 10 years, not 30 years, not 40 years, not until you're 65, just 10 years of intense saving. Then you stop completely, no more contributions, no more sacrifices, no more budgets, and that money you saved, it grows to nearly $3 million by retirement. Without you adding another penny. Sounds impossible, right? It's not. It's called Coast Fire, and it's the mathematical cheat code that nobody talks about. Today I'm going to show you exactly how this works, the brutal math behind it, why it's so powerful, and why most people never discover it until it's too late. I'm James. And I spend way too much time obsessing over financial equations most people ignore. The invisible math, the trade-offs nobody explains, the strategies that sound too good to be true but aren't. This is James Builds, where I teach you to construct lasting wealth through proven systems and brutal math. No BS, no hype, just blueprints that actually work. And today's blueprint might be the most powerful one I've ever shared. Because Coast Fire isn't just a strategy, it's a completely different way of thinking about retirement. One that front-loads the sacrifice so you can backload the freedom. Let me show you how it works. Meet Sarah and meet Michael. Both are 25 years old. Both earn $70,000 per year. Both want financial freedom, but they take completely different paths. Sarah follows the traditional advice: save 15% of your income every year for 40 years until you're 65. 15% of 70,000 is $10,500 per year, $875 per month. For 40 years straight, no breaks, no pauses, just consistent saving from age 25 to 65. That's the plan everyone recommends. Now meet Michael. Michael takes a different approach. For the first 10 years, ages 25 to 35, he saves aggressively. Not 15%, not 20%. He saves 43% of his income. That's $30,000 per year, $2,500 per month. But here's the critical difference. At age 35, Michael stops completely, no more contributions. No more saving, not a single dollar added for the next 30 years. He just lets what he's already saved grow. Two paths, two strategies, one question: who ends up wealthier? Let's do the math. Sarah's traditional path, $875 per month for 40 years, at 10% average annual return. Let's calculate: year 10, $133,000; year 20, $297,000; year 30, $571,000; year 40. Sarah has $1.09 million. That sounds pretty good, right? She saved consistently for 40 years and became a millionaire. But remember, she never stopped saving, every single year from 25 to 65. 40 years of discipline. Now let's look at Michael's Coast Fire approach: $2,500 per month, but only for 10 years, ages 25 to 35. Then zero contributions for 30 years. Let's break this down during the saving phase, years 1 through 10. Year 1, $33,000 saved; year 2, $69,000; year 5, $194,000; year 10, Michael hits $404,000. Then Michael stops contributing. At age 35, he has $404,000 invested, and here's where the magic happens: he doesn't add another penny. But that $404,000 keeps growing at 10% per year for 30 more years. Year 11, $444,000; year 15, $651,000; year 20, $1.05 million; year 25, $1.69 million; year 30, Michael has $2.71 million. Wait, let me say that again. Michael saved intensely for just 10 years, then never saved again, and ended up with $2.71 million. Sarah saved consistently for 40 years and ended up with $1.09 million. Michael has $1.62 million more than Sarah, with 30 years less of active saving. How is this possible? This isn't magic, it's exponential math. And it reveals something most people don't understand about compound interest. The first dollars you invest are worth exponentially more than the last dollars. Here's why. A dollar invested at age 25 has 40 years to compound. At 10%, that $1 becomes $45. A dollar invested at age 55 has 10 years to compound. At 10%, that $1 becomes $2.60. The same dollar, the same return, but 30 years earlier makes it worth 17 times more. This is why front-loading your savings is so powerful. Michael understood this. Instead of spreading his savings evenly across 40 years, he concentrated them in the first 10. Those early dollars had maximum time to compound. By age 35, Michael had built what I call the Coast number, enough invested that it will grow to his retirement goal without additional contributions. Sarah was still grinding every month. Every year for 3 more decades, Michael's money was working, Sarah was working, that's the fundamental difference. And here's what makes Coast Fire even more powerful. Michael's income after age 35, he could spend it all, or invest in other opportunities, or take lower-paying jobs he actually enjoys. Or start a business without financial pressure, because his retirement was already handled. Sarah couldn't. She had to keep saving 15% every single year or her plan falls apart. One path creates optionality, the other creates obligation. So how do you build a Coast Fire strategy? Let me give you the exact framework. Step 1. Calculate your coast number. This is the amount you need invested now that will grow to your retirement goal. The formula: your retirement target divided by compound growth multiplier. Example: you want $2 million at age 65. You're currently 30 years old. You expect 10% average returns. That's 35 years of growth. 2 million divided by 17.4 equals $115,000. 115,000 is your coast number. If you have that invested by age 30, it will grow to 2 million by 65 without adding another penny. That's your target. Step 2. Calculate your savings rate. How much do you need to save per month to hit your coast number? Let's say you want to reach that 115,000 in 5 years. At 10% returns, you need to save $1,500 per month. In 7 years, $950 per month. In 10 years, $600 per month. The longer your accumulation phase, the lower the monthly amount, but the less time you have before you need to start. This is the trade-off: short, intense sacrifice versus longer, moderate effort. Step 3. Front-load everything. This is critical. Every extra dollar in the early years is worth multiples of dollars saved later. If you get a bonus, invest it. If you get a raise, invest the difference. Tax refund, invest it. Inheritance, invest it. The goal is to hit your coast number as fast as possible, because the moment you hit it, you're done saving for retirement, forever. Step 4. Automate the process. Set up automatic transfers on payday. Your Coast Fire contributions should leave your account before you see them. This isn't about willpower, it's about architecture. Build a system that works without you. Step 5. Track your progress. Create a simple spreadsheet. Column 1, month and year. Column 2, amount invested. Column 3, current balance. Column 4, percentage to coast number. Watch that percentage climb. 50%, 75%. 90%, 100%. The day you hit 100%, that's your Coast Fire date, your financial independence day. Not full retirement, but the day your retirement becomes automatic. Now let's talk about reality, because I know what you're thinking: $2,500 per month. I can't save that much. Fair, so let's adjust. Can you save $1,000 per month? In 10 years at 10%, that's $204,000. Not quite the 400,000 coast number, but in 30 years that 204 becomes 1.37 million, still substantial. Can you save $1,500 per month? 10 years gets you 306,000, 30 years of growth, 2.05 million. The principal scales: whatever you can save, front-load it. The earlier, the better. Another reality check: what if the market doesn't return 10%? Let's run it at 8%, more conservative. Michael's 404,000 at 8% for 30 years. 1.96 million instead of 2.71. Still significantly more than Sarah's traditional path at 8%, which would give her 709,000. Michael still wins by 1.25 million. The strategy works even with conservative returns. Another question: what if I'm not 25? What if I'm 35 or 45? The principle still applies. Calculate your coast number, adjust your timeline, save aggressively for a shorter window. If you're 35 and want 2 million by 65, that's 30 years of growth. Your coast number is 153,000. Save $2,000 per month for 7 years, you'll hit 195,000. Coast achieved. The strategy adapts to your age, but the fundamental math remains. Front-loading beats spreading out. Every single time. If Coast Fire is so mathematically superior, why doesn't everyone do it? 3 reasons. Reason 1, it requires intense short-term sacrifice. $2,500 per month is hard. Most people prefer the comfort of saving a smaller amount forever, even if it's mathematically worse. They choose eternal moderate pain over temporary intense pain. That's a psychology problem, not a math problem. Reason 2, it goes against conventional advice. Every financial guru tells you to save 15% consistently. Coast Fire says save 40% briefly, then zero. That sounds crazy. It violates the slow and steady narrative, but slow and steady isn't always optimal. Sometimes fast and focused wins. Reason 3, delayed gratification is invisible. When Sarah saves $875 per month at age 30, she sees her balance growing slowly. When Michael stops saving at age 35, people think he quit. They don't see the compounding happening silently in the background. By age 50, when Michael's account is exploding, Sarah's still grinding, but nobody's watching the math. They just see Michael not saving and assume he's irresponsible. This is why Coast Fire is a secret, not because it's hidden, but because it requires thinking differently. And most people can't handle being different, even when different is mathematically superior. Coast Fire isn't all or nothing, there are variations. Variation 1, Barista Fire. Instead of full retirement, you cover your expenses with a low-stress part-time job while your investments grow. Your Coast number can be lower because you're supplementing with income. This gives you flexibility sooner. Variation 2, Slow Coast. Instead of stopping contributions entirely, you dramatically reduce them. Maybe you drop from 2,500 to 500 per month. You still have optionality, but you're adding a bit of acceleration. Variation 3, Target Coast. You coast to a specific milestone like your kid's college fund, then restart aggressive saving for retirement. Multiple Coast numbers for different goals. The beauty of Coast Fire, it's a framework, not a rigid rule. You adjust it to your life. But the core principle never changes. Early dollars compound longer. Front-load your wealth building. Then let time do the heavy lifting. Let's compare three approaches side by side. Traditional retirement, save 15% for 40 years, work until 65. Retire with 1.09 million. Traditional Fire, save 50 to 70%, work 10 to 15 years, retire completely with enough to live on forever. Coast Fire, save 40 to 50% for 10 years. Hit Coast number, do whatever you want, your retirement is handled. Traditional gives you security eventually. Traditional Fire gives you immediate freedom if you can sustain extreme frugality. Coast Fire gives you flexibility without extremes. You're not retired, but you're not trapped. You can take career risks, you can pursue passions, you can choose jobs based on enjoyment, not just salary, because your retirement is already on autopilot. It's the middle path. Not as aggressive as full fire, not as conservative as traditional, but potentially the most sustainable for most people. Here's what the financial industry doesn't want you to know. If everyone understood Coast Fire, they'd stop paying financial advisors for 40 years. They'd stop buying whole life insurance. They'd stop contributing to high-fee retirement plans. They'd save aggressively for 10 years, then become unprofitable customers. The system is designed for consistent, predictable contributions. That's how financial companies make money. Management fees on assets under management, every year for decades. Coast Fire breaks that model. You front-load, you stop contributing. You dramatically reduce your fees paid over time. That's why nobody teaches this. Not because it doesn't work, but because it doesn't profit the institutions. This is the blueprint they don't want you to see. Here's what you do today. Step 1. Calculate your Coast number. Use this formula, retirement target divided by years until retirement multiplied by growth factor. Online calculators exist. I'll link one in the description. Step 2. Calculate how much you need to save monthly to hit your Coast number in 10 years, or 7 years, or 5 years. Choose your timeline. Step 3. Audit your current budget. Where can you cut to reach that monthly target? This is temporary, not forever, just until you hit Coast. Step 4. Automate your contributions. Set up automatic transfers the day after payday. Make it invisible. Step 5. Track your progress monthly. Watch your Coast number percentage climb. Celebrate milestones. Step 6. The day you hit your Coast number, stop and reassess. Do you keep going? Do you redirect to other goals? Do you reduce your hours? The choice is yours because you've already built your retirement. Everything else is bonus. Most people save wrong. They spread their contributions across 40 years, when the math clearly shows front-loading wins. They follow conventional advice, when conventional advice is designed to keep them working longer. Coast Fire isn't radical, it's just math. Brutal, honest, compound interest math. Save aggressively for 10 years, hit your Coast number, then choose your life. That's the blueprint. If you're ready to build differently, hit subscribe. I drop new financial blueprints every Tuesday and Friday. Build with me, don't just watch. And remember, the first 10 years determine the next 50. Front-load your freedom. See you in the next build.